Hello and welcome to Tech of the Month for September. Now this September might seem a little bit weird. What with the tour running now in September rather than back in July, things can feel a little bit upside down. But fear not, we're back again with 3 more interesting products and an absolutely beautiful brand new bike from James with a Wilier. It's all very exciting, so let's jump right in. Now, my product this month is a wheel set from a wheel brand that is known very well in the off-road riding community and is gaining traction in the road riding community. Yes, I am talking about Reserve. For those that don't know, Reserve are the sister company of Santa Cruz Bicycles, who make mountain bikes. These specific wheels are the Reserve 35 wheel set. Now, these have come straight off my Cervelo Caledonia. Now, Cervelo has partnered with Santa Cruz to create a road wheel set. The two are owned by the same parent company, so it's quite easy for them to keep it in-house. And they're speccing these across a range of Cervelo bikes, including the Caledonia model and the Aspero model. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them move onto the S3 and S5 models in the coming years. Now, Cervelo has always wanted to make a wheel set, and they had all the information that they needed, they just didn't have the technical know-how in-house. Cue jumping to Santa Cruz to get some help. So the two have partnered to bring out a range of road and gravel hoops, including these, the Reserve 35, there's the Reserve 50, the Reserve 65 for those that fancy a much deeper profile, and also a Reserve 32 gravel wheel set. These wheels have a 21mm internal rim width, which is as wide as you would find on MV and Zip's widest wheels. Those are brands that have been pushing wide tyres on wheel combinations for a while, and Reserve are looking to do the same. So I'm running 30mm tyres on these off my Caledonia, but Reserve say these wheels are compatible with anywhere from 25mm through to 35mm tyres should you want to run sort of cyclocross or gravel wheels on them. You can run them in both the clincher form like I am here, or tubeless should you want to set them up and take the tubes out of them. As much as they are focused on being strong, they're also focused, according to Reserve, on being no nonsense, and for that reason you will find standard external nipple spokes and standard spokes on them as well, making them very easy to fix. These are wheels which are meant to be ridden a lot, according to the brand, and are easy to fix should something go wrong. But Reserve are so confident that nothing will go wrong with these wheels that they're offering the same lifetime guarantee that Santa Cruz offered with them when they first launched them. Now, as you would expect from a brand like Cervelo, these have been put through the wind tunnel and they do have data on them, and apparently they performed very well, but we can't confirm or deny anything because we haven't been giving that data. Cervelo hasn't provided it to anyone, instead wanting to focus on the conversation around the strengths of the rim and the build quality of the wheel. So you can make of that what you will. Now, these wheels retail at $2,400. There isn't any UK pricing yet, but with a rough guesstimate on exchange rate, that's around £1,900, which puts them in line with some offerings from Zip at this type of price point. Now, the wheel set I have here weighs 1,449 grams. So I've been riding these wheels for a few months now on my Cervelo Caledonia, so I can give you some impressions on what I think about them. The first is that they seat the wide tyres very well. Now, these wide tyres are meant to be 30mm, but I actually measured them and they come up to 32mm on these wheels, but they seat them very well. There's no mushrooming over the edge like you would get on narrower rims, and I've not had any bobbles in the tyre and no punctures either. This wheel and tyre combo has given me a greater appreciation of wider tyres. I haven't felt any slower running these 30mm tyres compared to, say, my 25mm tyres. They've proven to be very capable and not sluggish at all. The rims accelerate well. You sit at 30 to 32 kilometers an hour quite comfortably on these wheels. And I have not found myself lamenting having them on my bike when I've been trying to keep up on my faster group rides. And that wider tyre combination they've got going on just makes the bike far more comfortable. It's a big yes from me, really, from my current testing. Right now they're shipping on model year 2021 bikes from Cervelo, and we should see them available aftermarket in 2021 from reserve stockists.
For my product for Tech a Month this month, I've brought Coefficient Cycling's AR or all-road handlebar. Now, Coefficient Cycling has taken a heap of anthropometric and ergonomic data along with advice from bike fitters and coaches to create what is quite an unusual looking handlebar. Now, we've seen a few quite unusual handlebars recently. Obviously, Specialized had their hover handlebar. You've got Canyon with their double-decker thing, and then Far came out with that gravel bike aero handlebar that I showcased a couple of months ago. Now, this is slightly different. So what they've done is they've created a handlebar that relies on slope and sweep to put your hands in the optimum positions. If you look at the drop from the side, you see the Coefficient Cycling has been critical in terms of making sure that it looks just like a normal handlebar, and it acts in the same way. But this top section here has a slope to the sides, and also it has back sweep, so it actually bends backwards as well. So it's a 15-degree slope and a 12-degree back sweep. So it's designed to fit your hands perfectly. So if you were to look at your hands, you'll notice that they actually angle outwards when you're actually trying to hold on to something. So a flat handlebar isn't actually the most comfortable. This angle here, this 15-degree angle, actually puts your hand in the best position. And then it also angles backwards. So it's around about, funnily enough, a 12-degree angle, according to Coefficient Cycling, is the perfect position for your hands when you're in this top section. The other key feature on this handlebar is a little notch out in the drops here. So when you're riding, it fits your hands lovely and perfectly as well. So the handlebar is made from Toray carbon fiber. So it's very, very high end and quite lightweight. Coefficient Cycling claim that this particular handlebar, the 44 centimeter version, weighs in at 215 grams. I've had it on the scales, it weighs in at about 231 grams. Granted, it's with the cable guides here, but they probably only weigh a couple of grams anyway, so I wouldn't really notice the difference there. Talking about sizes, there's 4 different sizes: 38 centimeter, 40, 42, and then these 44. And it comes with a 4-degree flare. So it's not a flared handlebar per se, but it puts your hands in a very neutral position as well when you're in the drops. It's a 77mm reach, so pretty much bang in the middle of most handlebars in terms of from the back of the handlebar to where you put your shifters, and the drop is 120mm as well. So again, it's pretty much bang in the middle. So you're looking at £319 for this particular handlebar in all sizes. But I think it's a really, really interesting concept, and I'm looking forward to putting it on my bike. Coefficient Cycling say it's for anything from endurance roads through gravel and bike touring. So I'll be trying it on a few different types of bikes to see exactly where it suits best. There we go, Coefficient Cycling's AR or all-road handlebar.
The product I brought for September's Tech of the Month is this F3 form mount. I found it on sale at the UK's Sigma Sport for £49. So being tech editor at Cycling Weekly means that I'm pretty much constantly on a new bike. And of course they've all got different style handlebars, so I can't always use the same mount. So the form mount is one of a couple of options that they have. There's an awful lot of adjustability within it, and you could also get some add-ons that allow you to use lights and video cameras and other kind of accessories that you might want on the front end of your bike. The claimed weight on this is 25 grams. I've popped it on the scales, and I actually get 27 grams. So the clever thing about this mount is the huge amount of adjustability. So there are lots of different fore aft positions. Adjusting that is something you want to do if you've got a very kind of large brick-like cycling computer. So at the moment I'm using the Garmin 1030. I absolutely love the mapping on it, especially on the gravel bike. It's been really useful, but it is quite large. So you do have that kind of adjustability, which is certainly helpful. The legs also rotate 360 degrees. So you can have them in this position and you can have them in this position. And additionally, that kind of swivel action also means that you can fit them on stems that are anywhere between 16mm and 41mm. So that is certainly very useful. Now there are 2 different lengths of bolts available, again to suit different bike setups, and those both come in the box as standard, and you also get a different length set of legs as well if you want something a bit shorter. The only problem with this, of course, is that you're going to need a separate stem and bar. And at the moment, 75% of the kind of top-end bikes that I'm getting into test have an integrated bar stem setup. So it's not very useful in that case. F3 do also have an over-the-stem option, which I have been using on my gravel bike and is pretty useful. The camera light option is an additional £15, and that again is available via Sigma Sport. And also there are all these kind of different colour options, and they come in at about £5 each. One thing to note is that unlike a bar mounted option, you can't adjust the angle of the mount. Yeah, it's useful and does give you lots of different options for mounting.
Bike of the month this month is this beautiful Wilier Cento 10 SL. Now this is their brand new model. It came out just a couple of weeks ago, and I've been very fortunate in terms of being able to actually have a little play on this so far, but it is pretty stunning. So this is their middle range, so it's not a top of the range bike, which is very, very interesting, but it keeps the same shape as the top of the range Cento 10 Pro, just with a few little refinements. So you can see here that you've got that sort of NACA approved aerodynamic styling, so they're all truncated aero tubes, so it is effectively an aero bike, but it's just been simplified a little bit. So there's less features on this bike than on that top end bike. So you don't have the cutout on this down tube here, and the cabling is not quite as integrated as it is on that top end, but we'll talk about that in a second. So it uses a slightly lower grade carbon as well, so it's their NH mod carbon, which isn't their top grade, but it's still a very, very high quality carbon finish. So as I said, I've actually had a chance to ride this bike quite a bit over the last couple of weeks or so. And one thing that's notable about it is it's really, really good at holding speed. That's probably the one characteristic that I can say stands out more than anything else about this bike, is when you get it up to speed, it maintains speed incredibly well. It's also very, very good at accelerating. And the other good thing is Wilier has actually spec'd the bike with Vittoria Corsa tubeless tyres, so you can run these at lower pressures and get the benefits of a tubeless system, which is really, really important when you've got a bike that's effectively quite a stiff frame, and especially with that sort of proprietary D-shaped Ritchie seat post that you've got on there. So Wilier has actually had quite a long relationship with Ritchie, the component brands, and they've created this new stem and this special little cap here which fits underneath it, which effectively channels the cables into the head tube. So you get 90% of the benefits of having integrated cables, but the best thing is it means it's a heck of a lot easier to work on than if they were to go through the handlebars themselves. Wilier have basically designed a head tube that runs on very, very small diameter bearings, so there's loads of space for the cables inside the head tube to be able to then move to their places in the frame. I was a bit concerned about the actual the quality and longevity of like very small bearings, but I've been reassured that they've not really had any issues at all with these. But at the end of the day, it's just a set of normal bearings, so you can swap those out if you do end up wearing them out. This particular bike is obviously the top end model within the Cento 10 SL range, and it retails at £5,040. You can see here it's Ultegra Di2, but the great thing with Wilier's bikes is you get plenty of options. And a lot of you might like this, they also are doing the entire range in rim brake as well. So it's not just another brand that's going directly to disc brakes. So talking through the ranges, you can get this model with either Shimano 105, Ultegra Mechanical, Ultegra Di2, or for the aficionados out there, they do a Campagnola Chorus version as well. The disc brake version also comes with an additional model which uses SRAM's Force ETAP, so the new wireless group set. So you've got plenty of options there. And Even more so, they also offer every single model with a choice of 2 different sets of wheels. So you can either opt for the frame with a lower grade set of wheels, saving you money, especially if you've already got a decent set of wheels to use, or you can have it opted with these N38 Wilier wheels, which are made in conjunction with Miche. And it doesn't even stop there. With each model, you can then spec the width of the handlebar and the length of the stem as well. So you've got loads of options, and each bike is pretty much made to order for you. And of course, you all want to know what it weighs. Well, this is the extra large frame, which fits me at just over 6'1", and it weighs in at 7.67 kilos. So it's pretty competitive for a bike of this size with this spec. So there you have it. Bike of the month this month is Wilier's Cento 10 SL, a brand new mid-range Wilier.
Of the month, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Squirrel eating my plants. That squirrel's nicked my sunflower. Get out of it! Working from home dramas. Unbelievable.